Stepped dials and radio button groups are great ways to create sequences of actions that you can trigger with a press or from a button or from a MIDI binding. Here you see one that's already set up. We've got a dial where the first step does nothing, and then we record clip 1, stop recording clip 1, then record clip 2, and then stop recording clip 2, and return to the first step. I'm going to walk you through the steps to create this dial. Let's start with an empty dial. And I'm going to add the step names so that I know what they're going to do. The first step is going to be waiting. It doesn't do anything. Then we're going to call it record 1, stop 1, record 2, and stop 2, and return. Because what I want to do is go back to that empty step once I have cycled through here. And then I'm going to go ahead and swipe left and delete each of these unused steps. I'm going to click on the utility dial. I'm going to change state feedback to disabled because I don't want the state of the clips to change which dial step is selected. And then lastly, I'm going to set it up so that we can step through it by hand. And I'm going to add a trigger widget action that triggers the widget by scrolling through, nudging one step at a time. Let's go back, and now let's go ahead and add our actions. I'm going to duplicate this action and tap reorder and drag this down to the stop step and stop, and I'm going to duplicate that first record and drag it down to record 2 and just change the target. This just is a little bit quicker than adding each action by itself. And I'm going to take that stop action, duplicate it, and drag it down to my stop step, and select clip 2 as the target. And then as the last step, once it stops that recording, I want to go back and select that first empty step. And now we can go ahead and I'm going to tap on the button and we'll see that it's going to step through. And there you go. Now that we have set up the dial so that it has a press action that steps through the dial, it's very simple for us to set up a MIDI binding so that tapping a pedal will advance through the dial. So I'm going to turn on MIDI Learn and tap on the dial, and for the action I'm going to select press, and now I'm going to step on my MIDI pedal, and that MIDI pedal will now have the same action as tapping on the dial. You could also set up the MIDI binding so that the MIDI binding nudges the dial the same way that the press action we set up does. And there you have it.